Hola, this is our notes packet for week 4, semana 4, unidad preliminar, our beginning review unit, and this is Spanish too. We're going to start with some vocabulary and we're going to review some verbs. So, vamos a empezar. Vocabulario 1. Make sure you're using your notes packet as you're watching this video to fill it out. Las actividades del día. So these are our words. Pause the video, write it down, and practice your pronunciation as we're talking about them. So, la rutina. Después. Finalmente. Oh, sorry. I don't know how I skipped all the way over there. Después. Después de. I guess I could go across, so it's in order for you guys. Primero. Antes de. Now we have finalmente. I want you to notice, actually I'll skip to that in a second. Por la tarde, por la mañana, por la noche, nuestra vida, ir al cine, ver una serie de televisión. Make sure you're saying the sion, not shun, shun. It's not shun in Spanish, it's sion. Hacer teatro, ir a pasear, montar en patineta, ir de compras, hacer ejercicio. Remember that J is an H sound, so it's not ejercicio, it's ejercicio. La rutina diaria. All right, so make sure you have those written down. Okay, our next slide, el lenguaje. Let's look at the suffix mente. So we have this word in our vocabulary, finalmente. What do you think mente means? Can you think of an English equivalent? What suffix, remember that's a little part that you can add to the end of an adjective or a noun just to make it, to change the meaning of that word. So we have finalmente means finally, normalmente, igualmente, rápidamente, lentamente, cuidadosamente. What do you think Lee means? I'm just going to give you a chance. Finally. Some of these you've never seen before, but I bet you could figure them out, right? So, normalmente, normally. Igualmente, equally. Right? Remember if I say, mucho gusto, igualmente. Like likewise, right? But it means equally. I'm equally pleased to meet you. Rápidamente. Quickly or rapidly. Lentamente. It's actually the opposite of rápidamente, means slowly. And cuidadosamente. If I told you that cuidado means careful or care, with care, cuidadosamente, what do you think that is? Carefully. So what do you think mente means? Okay, so if you said mente means li, you're right. So what if I told you, what if I asked you if you know that mente means li, how would you say perfectly? So perfect, we know is perfecto. So how would you say perfectly? Perfecto becomes perfectamente. So you can see how you can just add mente onto the end. You change it to the feminine form and then just say mente. You change it to feminine here. Rapidamente, lentamente, cuidadosamente. So if it ends in an O, you change that O to an A. If it ends in an L, you just leave it. And then you add mente. That's how you do that rule. Okay, let's keep going. So now we're going to talk about stem changing verbs, and we're going to review those. I know we talked about conjugating regular verbs in present tense, AR, ER, and IR verbs, and how to do that. We reviewed it, we practiced it. Now we're going to talk about the stem changing ones, and hopefully it should be pretty much of a review, and I'll bring it back and you'll think, oh yeah, I remember. So, boot verbs. They're also called boot verbs, so maybe that just saying that and showing you this picture also helps you. So they are called stem changing or boot verbs. These verbs change their stem in just some parts of their conjugations. Sometimes they're called boot verbs because of the shape of the change. So remember, that when we conjugate a verb, you have your verb, like vestir, and it ends in AR, ER, or IR. You drop that IR, your ending, and that leftover is called the stem. And in these verbs, they're going to change. So vestir becomes, the E changes to I and becomes vist. So we're going to go over just the meaning of these verbs. And then you're going to write in the English. So vestir is to dress. Empezar is to start or to begin. Pedir, if you remember from our restaurant unit, is to ask for or to request. Pedir. Costar is to cost. Dormir is to sleep. Almorzar is to eat lunch. Not just to eat. Remember, eat is comer. That's a regular verb. Almorzar is to eat lunch. And jugar is to play. Remember that J is a sound. So not J. Jugar. That's to eat. And all of these, the U changes to UE. This one, O changes to UE. O changes to UE. OE changes to UE. E changes to I. And then empezar, E changes to IE. So for example, in our stem, empezar, take off our AR, take that off. We have empez. Now that E is going to change to IE. So it becomes empiezo. Empiezas, tú empiezas. Él empieza means to start or to begin. Yo empiezo mi tarea. I start my homework. Tú empiezas el partido. You start the game. Él empieza a leer. He starts to read. So remember, like, just changing the E to IE before you add our normal O, as, A endings. Now, where it doesn't change is in outside of the boot. So notice this is that boot shape. Nosotros and vosotros don't change. It just starts with empezamos, empezáis. But ellos, ustedes does change, empiezan. We had to have a couple places to practice, and I tell you to write the yo forms down. So vestir becomes visto, empezar becomes empiezo, pedir becomes pido, costar becomes cuesto, dormir becomes duermo, almorzar becomes almuerzo, and jugar becomes juego. Practice these. You're going to have some activities. Write these down. You're going to have some activities and games and stuff like that to practice these in this week. But make sure you keep this nearby to help remind you how to do it. Notice that in the nosotros forms, there is no change. Vestir becomes yo visto, pero nosotros vestimos. Same thing all the way down, all of these, like jugar is yo juego, but nosotros jugamos. Other boot verbs that are not in, we're not practicing, but they are ones that we learned last year. Poder, to be able to or can, is yo puedo. O changes to UE, to be able to. Querer, to want. Like yo quiero, E changes to IE in that one. Servir is to serve, E changes to IE. And preferir is to prefer. That should be like this. Sorry. And comenzar is to also another one to start where the E changes to IE in all of those. So those are other ones that we have learned in the past. All right, that's it for today.